Hello, hello, hello.
All right, we are live on Zoom and on YouTube.
Hey guys, welcome to Wednesday. We're really glad that we have this opportunity to talk with you guys, and I try to be I try to give you information that I think will absolutely help you in your career here with David Allen Capital. But I'm going to talk to you about something a little bit different today. I'm going to talk to well, it's kind of the same thing that we've talked about in the past, but it's going to be talking about the type of clients that you're submitting and what you might want to get out of your comfort zone and do. And I went over what we do at Valpak and how I talk to those people, and then I went over taking this device here called a phone and using that smartphone and taking pictures of even billboards or taking pictures of all these wraps. I mean, you can drive through your town and within one day, you could probably have a whole week's worth of possible clients to talk to on that. But let me just share my screen here for a moment. And I'm assuming everybody can see that now, right, Morgan?
Yes, we can.
There are a lot of benefits of working with the Bank Breezy platform versus being out there independent. Number one, just trying to get deals funded is such a hassle if you only have a couple of contracts. And I'm going to talk about how DAC started and how that affected them in the past. But there really are no hassles here. They're pretty quick decisions. Sometimes, we get confused on the um, um, giggle side of things. And just so while I'm saying that, let me just, that reminded me of something. Remember, Giggle does not fund in California nor New York. So got a few emails on that last night. A few upset people did not know that. But it's all in training, and we absolutely they don't fund in those two states. But this is a very quick process. You just got to get that link out to people. And we're providing, remember, the number one success tool that small businesses have at their disposal, and that's working capital. They need it. It's way more expensive to not be able to get working capital than our cost of capital. And next week, I'm going to talk about the cost of capital in great detail because this is not something you need to be fearful of. You need to hit it right head on, and that's what we do with every client. I just got a client that accepted a $152,000 funding offer, and the 16-month rate is a 142. They're in the accounting industry, and after breaking it down and them looking at the real cost of funds, which is about 2.6% monthly, I mean they were happy. But you just got to talk to them about it, and we have no problem doing that. You just got to get the word out, and we're getting a lot of renewals, but we need to get some larger type files in. So I just want to kind of talk about how David Allen Capital started. I think it's about 8 years ago, maybe nine. I'm not totally sure. The average funded deal back then was over $80,000 per deal. They only had one lender, and that was On Deck. Most of the deals were declined because On Deck requires at least a 650 or higher credit score. But David and them at that point were still doing over $1 million, sometimes two or three times that in monthly fundings with just 25 or 30 brokers. What was the difference? The difference is that they were looking for the high end brick and mortar buildings, and we'll talk about brick and mortar companies, which we'll talk about in just a second. Right now, we're going down to a FICO as low as 500. So the files that we're getting are not going to look like the files that David and them were getting back when they first started. I mean, our average has dropped down to 44,000 in funding, and that's excluding any of the giggle deals. More of our deals are being processed with are being processed, but in other words, we're getting more files processed and offers than David and them ever did. but the percentages of deals that were approved are severely affected because of FICO and revenue, and the deals that are now averaging closer to 10,000 a month in revenue. And many of these files have 1 to 3 positions. See, when you go in with a file with a company and a file that's larger, with a good FICO, and they don't have positions, even if they only have one, then you're not having to deal with those factors when you're having to rate this thing out, price it to as competitive as possible. I mean, I just had one now that got approved and they accepted for 20,000. I mean, I had to break it down to about 8 points, and the reason is this client and their agent, their broker, has submitted this deal everywhere, so they got excessive MTA inquiries, and that lowers the deal as well when it comes to what people are willing to do on those deals. What's the solution? Well, it's really business types. That's really the solution. I mean, you need to really start talking to the brick and mortar businesses out there rather than the real estate, construction, and insurance. Now, I'm not saying stop talking to these people. Of course, you continue, but those are harder deals to get done because a lot of them have already had multiple deals in the past. They've had challenges with actually making payments and that sort of thing. But I really want to try to inspire you and encourage you to take that challenge of the smartphone. Just do it for a month and just take pictures of all those people in the construction industry. And restaurants are big right now. Landscaping, restaurants, and construction. That's where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. And I'm not talking about the handyman guy. I'm not talking about the guy who's doing 10,000, 15,000 a month in revenue. I'm talking about construction companies and plumbers that are doing 25, 50, 100,000. That's where you're going to get the larger bang for your buck. So the reason that I mean, so many people are getting discouraged is that first of all, they have no relationship with the client. So they haven't spent any kind of time with them. Some of them haven't never spoken to them, and we get their files in from ads and that sort of thing. I'm telling you, meet, greet, and inform, that is the only way to get these larger files. You got to talk to people. You got to get involved with chambers of commerce and with home builders associations. You got a B&I events. You got to get involved out there in the community with these folks. If you do not get involved in the community with these folks, then nothing's really going to change. And you know, what do they say? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over every day and expecting different results. Well, I'm telling you, a lot of you need to change the environment that you're working in and begin talking to those you've got a list of all the top 10 type businesses that are the best. If you go to those top 10 and work in them, that 44,000 is going to jump up over $80,000, and you only need one $80,000 funding to equal to what you're going to get with about 7 or 8 or even 10 of these smaller fundings. I know you feel comfortable a lot of you speaking to the trucking industry and to the real estate. And by the way, some real estate got large revenue, but most of them are smaller revenues, and most of them have multiple positions. You may get someone with $50,000 in trucking, but they got 3 positions or 2 positions. All of those positions are going to be subtracted out of what the amount that they're doing monthly to determine them getting another position, which is high risk. So if anybody has any questions, I'd love to talk to you right now. Do you see any questions at all about anything to do with funding? Do you see anything, Morgan?
I do not.
Okay. Well, I hope this was useful to you guys. And I know that in the next weeks, me and David both are going to be talking to you more about the types of businesses to really concentrate on. And I hope that everything that we give you on a weekly basis is something that helps you, something that really inspires you. And I see we got one hand up, so we might as well go ahead and take that.
Yes, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. I just requested. There you go.
Hi, Mr. Wade. My name is Xavier. How are you doing?
Good, sir. How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for asking. I was on this call today because I was on the call last night. And David said that it would probably be a great question to ask you. I had a recent client that was declined, although they had they're in the publishing industry, and they've had their business open for 10 years, 750 score, and 75K average a month coming in. But they were just completely denied when I waited on their response with their file. It showed that what was the reason?
Not eligible for funding?
Yeah, just a very generic kind of thing.
Yep.
So
If you want to call me, after this, we've done a train on what that means,
okay,
and it's not good.
okay,
So if you'll call me on my cell phone, 803
okay,
260
okay,
6301, and I will tell you it the best that I can legally of exactly why they got declined.
okay,
I
great,
know
great.
I know that file. I looked at it. It does look good, but once you hear, you'll understand why nobody's going to fund it.
Okay, makes sense. All right, thank you very
All
much.
right. Thanks. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your time today.